No, you can probably just toss it on top of a PS3 power brick and you'd be fine.
Well, I mean, once chicken's cooked, it's kind of something that you don't want to keep a constant heat on.
No, it isn't
Right.
because then it starts building up moisture and then all your crispiness gets soft,
Yep.
which is part of the reason that KFC, I don't know about now, I haven't had KFC in years, but KFC kind of sucked because it would just sit there and they'd keep it under the heat lamp and you wouldn't get crispy chicken. That was always my experience. You didn't get crispy tenders or drums or anything like that. You just got breaded chicken.
I don't know. We have access to Popeyes and Bojangles here, so there's no reason to even think about KFC at this
See,
point.
I've never been to Popeyes, although I've seen it a few times. I have no idea what Bojangles is. I'm assuming
So
just a pretty big chicken place.
so there's actually a funny story behind it. Bojangles is it's actually based in Charlotte, like it started here. Uh,
Ah,
and it only expands to about Virginia and I think you can find. I know you can get them in North and South Carolina. I think there's a couple other states that have them, but it's all like local to North Carolina.
like that
Um,
region.
yeah, and their signs actually used to say "World Famous Chicken and Biscuits." And my mom was actually at a an event hosted by her employer that they were catering, and she was talking to the rep, and she said, "Yeah, it's interesting that Bojangles says they're world famous because Popeye says the same thing, and they have international locations." And the woman's eyes got real big and said, "Really?" And shortly after that, the world was dropped, and it just says "famous chicken and biscuits."
That's actually really funny.
So we're like, hmm.
Whoops. Well, it's like, how could you possibly be world famous if you're
Yeah,
like located in 4 states?
right? That's the thing. It's like Popeyes actually has international locations. You say Popeyes, even people that haven't been to Popeyes know what you're talking about.
I mean,
Uh,
it's kind of like uh that was like a year or two ago or something like that, maybe a little longer. In and Out pulled a stunt where they're like, oh, we're going to open up super temporary locations, and they opened up like an outdoor drive-through just
mhm.
somewhere in the UK, and it was like for 2 days, and then they packed it all up, and they were running around to different cities and doing that. So I guess now technically they could say they're world famous because they went and teased a whole bunch of people
Right.
like assholes. Or maybe they were just testing the waters to see if they were popular enough to start opening up international locations. But I feel
Spoiler.
like you feel like you'd want to spread out in the US where their name is like kind of famous, even though they're only located down like in the southwest and southeast.
Yeah. Not even the South. Well, actually, I know there might be some in Florida, but you know,
I think they've stretched out to Florida.
yeah, I've never had it. Hell, I've been to Los Angeles and I've never had it.
I got to have In and Out a couple weeks ago, and it's fine. It is a solid burger.
Mhm.
I'm not driving to Texas to go and get In and Out, but if I'm ever in Texas and I happen to be near an In and Out and I'm hungry, it is a totally valid option. But it is not the end all and be all of burgers. I'm sure I made someone mad with that statement.
No, like, cause, and here's my thing: if we're anywhere near Texas, which I pray to never be again, but the stuff that I can only get down that direction that I would be going for is Whataburger. Um,
Yeah, well, the other Whataburger, we already covered that anomaly.
did we talk about that?
Yeah,
Okay,
blew my mind.
yeah, it's fucking wild.
But yeah, it's like I would take Whataburger 9 times out of 10 over In and Out. But that's you know,
Whataburger's real good.
I had the In and Out, and I really feel like with their little stunt they can be world famous. But yeah, no, if you're in 4 states, you can't be world famous. You
Yeah,
can't be. You can't be world famous. Like that would be like, oh, we're world famous because we run ads in other countries. Like, well, then why would you do that? Now you're just being mean. Because I've always heard, like I've never had Popeyes, I've heard it's super good. And if you have a chain that's spread out to other states, I assume it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But one of them gets to say world famous, the other one doesn't.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like you may not have been to Popeyes, but I guarantee you there's one in driving distance.
Oh, I know exactly where one is. I can probably think of about 3.
Yeah. Now they may not be very good there, because that is a whole thing. Like I've been to the original Popeyes location. There is a difference between New Orleans Popeyes and everywhere else Popeyes.
Really?
Yeah. So the original location is still owned by the Copeland family. There's a whole lot of locations that were opened around the country that are franchised, and the quality is not up to snuff. Locations that have been opened within the last, 5-6 years or so are locations that are owned by the family again, and those tend to have better quality. So the quality of your Popeyes can vary depending on where you are and who owns it. So that's just another wrinkle to think about for people.
Well, since the news segment has devolved into fried chicken review, do they have any fried chicken over in the UK, Matt? Is that a thing?
We have KFC.
Oh, you have KFC?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
That
But
sucks because I can think of about 3 chicken places that outclass KFC right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I guess there's nothing particularly wrong with KFC, but it's like just the vanilla fried chicken place.
Like you were saying with Popeyes, I think it kind of like varies from location to location.
Mm-hmm.
My local one is fine, but I have had some dodgy stuff from elsewhere.
Right.
Well, and also talking about location. You posted pictures of burgers from McDonald's before, and they look a hell of a lot better than the burgers we get over here.
Yeah, I do really like the McDonald's burgers.
And over here, we're just like, oh, it's maybe a beef patty with maybe relish on it, and maybe that's a bun, and that probably is lettuce, but you'll never know.
That is that's
the
legally
UK
distinctive sauce.
the UK actually has food safety laws.
Shocking. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the US does, but they're nowhere near as stringent.
No, not even remotely as stringent.
But moving on from consoles made by fast food, which we were talking about 20 minutes ago, there is another console coming from actual literal criminals.